Hello everyone, myself Ravin. Welcome to my channel Code Beans. In this video, we will know more about loops. So let's first start with the very traditional and famous for loop. So in Python, the for loop behaves slightly different than how people use it in C, C++, and Java. So to understand more about it, let's first understand a function called range. Okay, so what range does is if you pass any integer value to it, it will return all the integers except that number starting from 0. So basically it will return 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 because I have passed 5. Let's check it. As you can see, uh, it is returning 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's quickly understand how does the for loop works. So basically in for loop we are reading the elements till that particular data type runs out of element to be read. So what does I mean is, for example, for I in, and let's have a list 1 2 3 4 and 40. Oh, 40. And let's have an indentation. Why are we doing indentation? Because we want to tell our interpreter that this piece of code is inside for. And why do we use loops for say? Because sometimes what happens is there is a particular piece of code that we want to run again and again till certain conditions are getting met. So yes, now coming back to this for loop. So let's say now we print I. So what will happen is this I will first become 1, and then whatever is inside this for loop will get executed. Then after the execution, this I will then become 2, and whatever is inside this for loop will again get executed. Then it will become 3, and then everything else will get executed which is inside for loop, and then it will become 4, then everything else which is inside this for loop will get executed. Then it will become 40, and then whatever is inside the for loop will get executed again. And now since after it becoming 40 there is nothing else to be read, so the for loops then stop executing itself. Okay, so let's try to run this. See, 1 2 3 4 40, 1 2 3 4 40. Understood? So now the I have first became 1, then 1 is printed, then in the next loop because there is nothing below it, it became 2, then 2 is printed, then nothing is below it, so then I became 3, 3 is printed, then 4, then 4 is printed, then 40, and then 40 is printed. Okay, so now we will see the use case of range function. Okay, suppose you have a list, let's say 1 2 3 4 and 50. Now you want to read the elements of this list. So there are two ways of doing it. One is for lm in a. So basically what will happen is this lm will first become 1, then whatever we write inside it, inside this for loop, that will assume lm have a value of 1. Okay, then after the execution this lm will become 2, then everything else will get executed. Similarly 3, then everything else will get executed, whatever is inside 4, and similarly and so on. Okay, so this is one way. The other way is, okay, so the other way is, let's say the list was suppose 1 2 3 4 50. First let's calculate the length. So the length of a is 5, the number of elements uh, inside this a variable 5. Okay, and the index is from 0 to 4. So what we can do is for idx in range, let's say a length. So we will loop through 0 to 4 integer values, and then we can use the index to get the value of a, that is like this. So first idx will become 0, then we will get a of 0, then 1, then a of 1, then 2, then a of 2, then 3, then a of 3, then 4, then we will print a of 4. Okay, now I think this is now understood. So let's do one more example with for loop. Now this time let's try to read a dictionary, because dictionary don't have indexes. So how will we read it? Well, the trick here is to use the keys. So let's say the dictionary was something like this, IDX, suppose, and it was one, suppose, and second thing was name. Name is, you can use whatever name you want. Mine is Ravan, so I'm writing my own name. So what we can do is, for k in, let's make it a list, a underscore dict dot keys. So this will give us all the keys. So for the first run, the k will become idx. For the second run, it will become name. And in the previous video, we have learned that we can use the keys to get the values from a dictionary like this. So this k will first become idx. So we are getting the value 1 printed here, because a dict idx is 1. Similarly, a dict name is Ravan. Let's check this out. So it is working as expected. Now let's quickly understand two more concepts, and then the basic introduction will be done. So sometime what happen is, there is a piece of code that we don't want to be executed when certain condition is met, and sometimes what happen is, we don't want the entire loop to be executed if certain condition is met. So if you don't want the entire loop to be executed, even if the entire elements are not read, if the condition is met, so in that case we use break. And if we don't want a particular piece of code to not to be executed, and we want to keep reading the elements, in that case we use continue. Let's check this out. For, let's say, idx in, let's make it very simple, 1 2 3 4 5. If idx, let's say, is greater than 3, what are we doing? We will say break. And else, what we do, we say print. So what is happening is, this variable idx will be first have a value of 1, then it will have value of 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, right? Technically, yeah, but there is a catch here in this code. The catch is, we have written if condition, that is, if the idx is greater than 3, use the break. Break means like get out of this loop, don't do anything else. And if it is not greater than 3, keep printing the values. So ideally what it should do is, it should print 1, 2 and 3, and then stop executing, because 1 is it's checking this condition, 1 greater than 3, false, so it is executing else, print 1. Similarly, print 2, print 3, then we have 4, 4 greater than 3, it is true, then the break is getting executed. Okay, now let's discuss about the continue statement, or the continue keyword, you can say. So suppose we are having a loop, let's say, for lm in 1 2 3 4 5. Suppose we have a condition, let's say, if lm is greater than 3, what do we want to do? We will print greater, and then what we will do? We will do continue, and then here we will say running. So what is happening here is, this lm will first become 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So 1 greater than 3, it is false, so it will print running. And in the again another case, it will check for 2, then 3, then 4. Then in case of 4, it will print greater and then continue, and then it will not execute this particular print statement, and then it will directly go to 5. Then it will check 5 greater than 3, it say yes, then it will print greater, and then again continue means like don't execute anything below, just assume nothing else is written below in the for body. That's what the interpreter will do if their interpreter read the continue keyword. Then it will just again go in the loop, and it will see like there is nothing else, then it will do nothing and it will get out of the loop. So let's check it. So it is running, 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 then greater, greater, because 4 and 5 are greater than 3. So now I hope the keywords of continue and break are very well understood. So let's move to another topic, which is a while loop. So syntax of a while loop is very simple, and even its behavior is very similar to that of the while loops that some of you might have seen in programming languages like C, C++, and Java. So let's quickly understand it. Let's create a variable counter, assign it a value 0, then create another variable, assign it a value, let's say 10. Now in while loop, basically we provide either a logical or a relational or a combination of both kind of operation, and if the value turned out to be true, then whatever is inside the while loop body will get executed. Otherwise the loop just ends, and whatever is below the while statement, below means outside the while body but below the while statement, will get executed. Let's just see. Counter less than limit, then what do we want to do? We will print the value of counter, and then we will increment the value of counter also. Why we will increment the value of counter? Because if we don't do that, then counter will always remain 0, which will always remain less than 10, and it will always print 0 0 0 0 0 if we don't write this line. Okay, so what will now happen is counter is 0, it will print 0, then counter will become 0 plus 1 1, then it will again check, and similarly when this increment keep on happening, at the very last counter will become 9, which is less than 10, then it will print 9. Now the counter will become 9 plus 1, which is 10, 10 less than 10, which is false, and then the loop will stop executing further. Let's see. So as you can see, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. I hope the while loop is also now clear to you. So in this video we have understood about for loop, while loop, break, and continue statement. So in the next video we will understand about return statement, functions, and how to import libraries and use their functions as well. Till then, take care. Bye bye.